Alright guys, hey again, it's Adam or AdaMaZe, and I'm just making another video. Specifically, this one's going to be talking about some things that have been accused to and of me, as well as some misconceptions, misunderstandings, and just viewbotting in general. I think a lot of people are misinformed or have less than stellar information about it. And so with the way Twitch is set up and how discoverability is non-existent, it kind of opens up that can of worms where you start to look at other people and what they're doing and how they're doing, because it really is near impossible to start from nothing and increase a Twitch viewership without very specific things being done and without, any kind of assistance from the outside. And I don't know, like everybody's got a different path, and like that's part of the reason why I'm making this video, to kind of shine light on that fact that all Twitch streamers have different paths and what they're doing. One perfect example to explain to you what this video is going to be about and kind of shine some light on is, and you've probably seen it yourself as somebody that has viewed my channel for this long or knows who I am, but you go to one of the largest streamers on a specific category stream, and you see them have, just for this example, 5,000 viewers, and then you go to their gifting leaderboard on their subscriptions or bits, and you see that they're top gifter for the month. We're halfway through the month, and the top gifter is 1 subscription or something like that. And then you go to one of your best friend's streams that you've known for a long time, and they have 5 people who've gifted 10 subs, a 25 sub, and this is like all in 1 month. So you see where I'm going with that is like the viewership versus genuine connection, genuine time, work, effort into content, etc., etc., etc. Those all factor into what that ratio looks like and how people view others on Twitch. And I think that says a lot in itself right there, because there's numbers everywhere, and to understand these kinds of things at certain levels, and obviously with me, I've been streaming for over 2 years. I've met enough people to kind of break this kind of stuff down for me and help me really see the bigger picture and see that things aren't quite what you might perceive them to be from the viewer standing point looking into streams and whatnot. But just to give you an idea as to a lot of things that are happening, and like I say, everybody has a different path. So you see people that that have streamed for 1 year or 30 years or 30 minutes, and you see the differences in viewership and interaction in the chat. And I think one of the biggest things to look at to find this kind of irregularity is looking at their chat and how many viewers versus how many active chatters and other things. And obviously all of this is situational, and if you're a streamer, there's high times, there's low times, depending on how your energy is as a streamer. It affects the chat's energy and vice versa. So streaming has plenty of different factors, but I'm just saying, in the majority of cases, the reason why those kinds of things happen is because there really are people that have put in a bunch of hours behind the scenes, or started on Twitter or YouTube, or a long time ago on Vine. There's different ways people get noticed online and get any kind of impression or click, and sometimes that is through really hard work and a bunch of time that they've given up to get to that point. But there's also a lot of situations where they maybe, because they've put in time elsewhere, they feel that they are entitled to support on Twitch. And so what they'll do is they'll realize, hey, there's this legal viewbotting option. And just to explain what that means, it's an embed link or an embedded link up for somebody's Twitch channel. So to explain to you what these bigger companies or sponsors will do for Twitch streamers to keep their viewers consistent and create that false sense of that perceived great stream community feel. They will literally link their Twitch stream to a top of the, top most viewed Forbes article magazine about cars. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to do with the Twitch stream, but this link gets traffic, so let's embed your Twitch channel on this link, and so as soon as anybody visits that link, it shows them as a Twitch viewer, and that's technically not a fake or a bot view, because it's a real person who's interested in something that's completely different, but they're showing up as the view count. So I try my best to explain that. That's the long story short of it. There's a lot more that goes into it. But that's how they can perceive this, create this perceived community. And no matter how it's done in any fashion, in my opinion, it's really, really bad and toxic, and it doesn't matter who does it, and it doesn't matter how much time you've put into it, because Twitch specifically is supposed to be a very intimate platform where you can create and build relationships with people. And I'm of course talking about from the standpoint of somebody like myself and my own experiences, coming from 0 followers to actually having met a lot of real people and dealt with increased followers, increased interest in my channel all at once, and the other way around, not an increase in really low lows, really high highs. That's what streaming comes with. But like, you have to understand that there is a lot more that happens, and these inflations of numbers are not what Twitch wants. Twitch wants an active, healthy chat. Twitch wants 25 people in a chat and 10 people talking like a normal, I've just streamed for quite a while and put a lot of time into my content and relationships with the people that actually come in and respect me enough to click on my channel and either watch, actively chat, or lurk my channel. It takes a hell of a lot of time to get to that point for the majority of people that don't have anything else to prove to anyone that they're respectable enough or honest enough of a person to even get a view. And so that's where the sticky parts of Twitch come in, because then you have to dig way deeper to realize or try and determine whether or not this person is even worth supporting. And I think, and I'm just going to come right out and blatantly say it, there's been a lot of misunderstandings with this kind of stuff with my stream specifically, but also a lot of other people that I've met that have actually been successful on Twitch, and people who haven't, but mostly people who have and are still around, and they have the stories to tell from the experiences that have usually taken other people too far and pushed them off the platform. And what I mean by that is literal viewbot attacks, like people who have the simple idea of a very basic coder and can go into a web page and modify the web page, code it in a way where it inflates and changes the viewer count. And people have literally done that to me, and at the time of that happening, I wasn't informed enough at all to where I didn't know I had to stop my stream for exactly 5 to 10 minutes. It was somewhere between 8 minutes was like the perfect time for me. I was stopping my stream for a few minutes and then trying to restart as fast as I could, because this has been my full-time job, and as a streamer, you don't want to just cut your shit in the middle of it. That's not good. And so you're basically letting that attacker win. So I went through a long phase where I would end my stream for a minute or two and boot it back up, and there was no resolution. The view count, the follow bots, all of it, none of it was resolved, and it continued to happen until I met somebody that told me, you literally can't start your stream back up for an entire full 10 minutes. Just try it, trust me. And I did that, and it worked. And ever since I found out that reality, I did that until the person stopped griefing me. And they've done it a few other times beyond that, but they've gotten to a point where it's not fun for them anymore, because I've realized how to tackle it. But there was a huge phase where I wasn't in the know or able to tackle it. And so, like, to explain to you guys how this kind of inflation, these view bots, these embedded links, these legal view bots affect streamers, in very simple terms, without making this go too long, it affects people's streams very, very negatively if they've already made a name for themselves. If they've streamed for a year or 6 months or whatever the time is, they've put in a lot of hours, they've met really great people and established bonds with them, gained their trust, etc. And then they started saying, fuck this, I'm not getting viewers half the time I stream, this isn't worth my time, I'm going to go ahead and buy a Viewbot for 200 viewers or 100 viewers or 500 viewers or 1,000, whatever it is, or get in on the embed links. That idea literally only backfires over time and will cause a self-implosion on the community. There's people that come in almost every day, and as Twitch streamers or viewers, you might know, you come into a chat and you expect to see certain people most of the time or some of the time, and that's how a community, that's how a true community, this isn't perceived anymore. Like, that's when the true community feeling and what Twitch is good for, that's where it comes in and shines the most. So when you have these fake viewers, these fake perceived communities coming in, then it makes those actual real people completely uncomfortable and removes their interaction almost entirely until it just pushes them away because they're uncomfortable in the situation anymore. And it stems from just not knowing what's going on, and it also stems from not being able to fully trust the person that it's happening to, etc., because of too many things that are unknown. And I don't know, that's what I guess this video is for, just to get you guys to realize that people who are doing this kind of thing, there's no longevity to their content. There's nothing that's going to continue. You'll see them trending for a few months or a few weeks, maybe even a year, and then it's not going to continue. Like, their heart isn't in it. They've done other methods in which they got increased impressions that weren't genuine, so there's no backbone to the structure of what's happening. And that's my big point to this whole thing, is you guys should try and realize that there are going to be these discrepancies, but there's uniqueness in literally every single person. And just because somebody has 500 viewers or 5,000 viewers doesn't mean that they're great. They could be using these tactics that sure are smart, but it literally diminishes the idea of a Twitch community in general, and it sucks, man. And there's been a lot of people that have specifically gone out of their way to shun me because I was targeted with this kind of issue. And I don't know, it's not right, man. It's just, you have to see that, like, when it happened to me specifically, I had already spent that time. I had already gained respect from certain people, and then all of a sudden there were multiple streams where I would get more viewers than I was used to, and there were times where I knew what was happening and there were times where I didn't, and I pushed through all of that, and I had a lot of people that helped me and a lot of people that were skeptical, but I talked to everybody individually. And like I say, I talked to a bunch of different creators who have a bunch of different information and more experience than I have had, and they've told me that these kinds of things happen all the time. It's not a new thing that's coming. Like follow bots, view bots, the embed links for the sponsored streamers, that's always happened, and it just creates this game that Twitch is. And it sucks for us smaller creators, but I wish that people would work together and get closer with people that are genuinely putting in the time and effort into creating good content and being around and not just up and going, and like supporting them more, having more respect for that kind of creator, because it's harder to do that. It's much harder to continue and keep a community than it is to fake a community and then make it work, fake it until it ends up just becoming a real community, because it's easier that way and it's harder to do it the right way. And in some cases they do deserve that, but in a lot of cases they don't, and it sucks that a lot of us get flushed out. But I think that it's important to know that these kinds of things are happening, so you can kind of get behind the idea and understand that usually if it is randomly happening to one of your friends or they get attacked, it's probably because they're doing something right, and you should probably stick around and try to support them through it. Because like in my case specifically, and I hate keeping on bringing this up, but there's so many misconceptions about my stream, I want to talk to you guys. If there's anything that you have, any screenshots, whatever it is, this has been a big thing for me, and I stand by that, the fact that I have never, will never have, and never have even condoned any kind of inflation of viewership in any way, because of this exact feeling of, you are not creating a Twitch community. There are not going to be people in that chat when I come. There's not going to be real content. It's going to be somebody just sitting there playing a game and not doing anything like every other 100, million streamers are doing. Like, that's the kind of vibe that you get from people who do that. And I don't know, like, you have to, I think that there's a lot of things that come with the inflations, whether they're legal or not. It's a very, very bad thing for Twitch, and that was my point behind this all, is please do not give anyone the green light. If you've seen this like happen, it's not okay, on either side. And I think that it sucks that there's certain people that have told me that it's pretty easy to do it if you know any kind of basic coding. I don't know the details, but there's also, I'm sure, services that you can purchase it from, or certain amounts of viewers. But like I'm saying, like, if the end goal here is for me to make money, you would think that I'm just saying all of these things to make more money. Like, I'm farming Oilers right now by making this video or something like that. Like, this is my 5-head way of doing that. But really, guys, I need you to see that there's too much misinformation out there, and there's too much framing and too much hate and negativity right now out in the world. And there's enough people that will jump and bite on that energy once they see or feel something that they don't like, and they'll just ride it forever, and they'll hold grudges, and it's not okay. I've met too many people online and lost too many people, too many amazing, good people, because of issues like this, and just simply being uninformed or misinformed. And yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it other than, if you start off viewbotting, then you can benefit from that. There is potential there if you're doing it in the right way and you have the right sources. But if you go from, let's do this right, and then change your mind later on in your career, you're basically giving up anything and everything you've earned from that point on, whether it's money, friends, trust, etc. And Harris Heller made a great video on that, and talked about how it feels to get any kind of real success on Twitch and how people usually treat you. And the last thing I want to end this stream with is, there's two ways to view and perceive somebody's success from the outside looking in. And Nick Merckx tweeted something out recently that I wanted to look at, but this is similar to that. And there's two ways you can approach this. Is you can see somebody succeeding and working very hard and making a dream come true, and you can be that fucking just absolutely grimy, salty, bitter, upset person because they are getting something that you personally really want and have given up a lot to receive, but you haven't gotten it yet. And so you can either take this extremely jealous and just pitiful, toxic, negative spiral effect that it will not only have on you, but the people around you who also view and maybe look at this other person as a role model as well. And you're like literally bringing them down to your level. And that is so toxic. It's such a negative approach. And you have that option. You can choose that for anyone in the world who makes a mistake. You can dislike anyone for any specific thing and decide to see people that succeed and feel that way about it. Or you can be right there behind them and supporting them and gassing them up and come into their streams or whatever it is, come into their DMs. Not everybody can watch a stream in 2020, but like, if you were there for them and you acted as though you really were supporting and wanted to be and get behind the things that they felt and how they believed in certain ways, and then you see that they actually start succeeding and then completely ignore them, leave things that you're associated. Like, that's the kind of world that we live in. So many people are faking support, and then once it actually happens and comes to fruition and it's not them, the jealousy literally takes over and they're no longer the same person. I've seen it happen to too many good people. And there's a lot more that it's not this simple. And I get that mental illness plays a factor into it. And, you know, people don't want to condone negative affecting human beings. Like people who, I don't know, like I'm going way off on a tangent, but I think that there's two ways to handle it. And it's really important that you can start to see if there is somebody that's really out there doing their all, giving something their all, it can be so much more beneficial to grow with them and bring them up and bring yourself up and not focus so much on anything or anyone and all the negatives that you can take from it or take from them or whatever that is. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see ya.